Hello everyone, this is Matt Vadney. I'm here to remind you about the highlighting or underlining guidelines because you don't want to waste your time when you're looking over a reading and you want to go off and do something else, but you had this homework and you had to remember information. So highlighting and underlining is very important. And a reminder is less is more, okay? So what that means is the whole point of highlighting is to draw your attention to an important piece of information. And this information should be new. Remember how your brain works. As information comes in, if you already know something, it's going to put it in the part of your brain that it already exists. But if something new comes in, you have to retain that, right? You want to focus in on what's new and think of that as why you highlight, so that you can focus in on what's new because that's what you're learning. So highlighting allows us to do that. So let's look at the rules that we've talked about before. First of all, when you open up this document or when you open up the reading, you're going to be getting read and write. If you don't have it when you open up the document and you're given an option to open up programs, you could open up a document or reading, which is this, Oasis on Wheels. You can you can open it up as a Google Doc, I suppose, though you're going to lose the picture and it's often not a perfect interpretation. So try to open up using read and write. You won't get all the features, but you'll get the important ones. Reading and highlighting, okay? If you don't see this toolbar open, activate it now. Just click there. It may ask you to go through a series of windows to activate it, approve it. Make sure you select your kts-ttlc.org Google login. Okay, because that will give you permission to use it. Okay, so let's go over highlighting rules. First of all, remember, first of all, I'm going to highlight this to remind you how to use the read and write highlighting tool. First, turn on the highlighting tool, and then you get your colors that you want. And then you can highlight. And remember, here's an important thing. Number one, read one paragraph or short selection at a time. Since we're new to this, let's focus on one paragraph. And one way to highlight here is you always select it first. You'll get some extra words, but that's just the nature of this digital document. One paragraph. So I'm going to highlight that blue because I'm in a blue mood. All right. And then it says read first, and that's important. I'm going to highlight that. Read first. And then highlight after you've read, okay? That way, when you go back to highlight, you're just focusing on the new information. If you read it first, you'll know what to look for. Here's something important. Remember, the purpose of highlighting is to draw your attention to new information. Therefore, only highlight words and phrases, never entire sentences or paragraphs. If you do that, you're not pointing out any information. You're just coloring it. I think there is an exception. If it's a sentence that defines a word, a vocabulary word, especially if it's in bold, go ahead and highlight the whole sentence because you'll need to know what that definition is. Remember, it's better to mark too few than it is to mark too much because that's the purpose of highlighting, to draw our attention. Number 5 is all about creating your own system. You can draw circles rather than highlight. You can draw squares rather than highlight. You can use arrows rather than highlight. You can underline, or you could use any kind of symbol you want. And in fact, you can create your own system by assigning these shapes to different purposes. Like maybe all circles are for dates. All squares are for new words. All arrows are to point out important events. And then you can come up with other symbols if you want. Now put numbers in the margin. The margin is this empty space to your left or to your right. The reason why you want to do that is so you can locate information fast. For example, you might decide that you're going to number all the new words, all the definitions that you're learning that you figure you might be tested on. And you'll highlight that word and then write a number so that you can count up how many new vocabulary words you have. And yes, it's going to be important to be neat, and you only want to focus in on what's useful. Don't waste your time highlighting things that you already know. That's a waste of time, because if you know it, why bother? When you create your own system, you're going to be faster, okay? Because you want to do this fast. You want to do other things, right? Okay. All right, so that's how you highlight. This is what you're going to be reading about. It's called an oasis of wheels. I'm going to give you an example. Look, you got a freebie highlight. I don't quite know how it ended up there because I can't erase it. But let me read this first section here. I'm going to highlight it and read it.
In 2011, Josh Troutwine was working as a nutrition educator in Boston, Massachusetts.
Okay, then I'm going to highlight the next sentence.
He wanted to teach kids how to live healthy lives.
And then highlight that.
Then he learned that the neighborhood's only grocery store was closing for a year of renovations.
Okay, so I've read the first paragraph. And so I turn on the highlighter and I think, okay, well, what's important? Well, we're being introduced to a person. This is probably important, his name. And where is he? Oh, he's in Boston. And what is he doing? He's teaching kids about being healthy. But he has this problem. The grocery store is closing. There. So if I had to take a quiz on this reading tomorrow, I would come back, look at the document, and my eye would immediately be brought to Troutwine, Boston, teach kids, healthy, grocery store, closing. And so I would think to myself, okay, so this test is going to be about this guy who teaches kids how to be healthy, but the grocery store is closing. There, I've gotten ready for that. And then I just proceed to the next paragraph. Okay, so that's what your job is going to be with this document. Okay, so I'm going to clear that off so that when I post this, you don't get a freebie, except for right there. That's clearly a vocabulary word. Okay, well, take care, everyone. I'll talk to you later.